Welcome back, YouTube. So I wanted to provide a price update. One of the things that we were tracking, which was Bitcoin, and pretty much using that as a measuring stick to kind of track the tone of the market. We were talking about the potential that Bitcoin could go down to grab liquidity because the momentum, volume wise, and also even the candlesticks that we're seeing here, it was appearing to get very weak, and it looks like it couldn't sustain itself to go to that 25,000 mark. So we were talking about the possibility of it dipping down to grab liquidity from a few other um, areas, lower pivot points, really to just kind of grab some liquidity to see if it could go back up to retest. And I know there's a lot of talk about golden circles, golden crosses and stuff like that. And there's a couple that you can see getting ready to cross here. Even the stronger 72 and the 200 day, those are getting ready to cross as well, which is fine. Those will cross sometime within the next day or so. I probably say the next 72 hours, we'll have a good idea if they're going to cross or not. But ultimately, we need to hit a couple points here because we've consolidated to roughly around the 22,000 mark, and it doesn't appear there's enough liquidity there. So if we came down to our next mark, that'll put us at like the mid 21,000. When we talked about this a few weeks ago, we are saying, well, last week, we said there's a potential that we can drop around like $2,000 before we can get an idea of what kind of liquidity lies at the pools of liquidity lies at those levels. 22,000 mark, the $1,000 that's dropped is not, as of right now, showing up any I'll say strong, if not strong enough, to kind of rebound Bitcoin in the opposite direction. Doesn't mean that new liquidity cannot come in. Just means right now what was sitting there, those buy orders and stuff weren't enough to signal. So there's one at another $1,000 lower, which is around the 21,000 mark, which can which technically is going to affect the overall price of crypto. So you'll see some of the institutional allocations start to kind of level off. So you'll see things like that reflected, especially in the top 10, your Ethereums, your Cardanos, your Doge. You'll see that kind of reflected there as institutional money kind of gets reallocated. But ultimately, we're looking at around the 21.5 mark to 20,000. 20,000 put us back at the top tier here. There should be, if all this fails and there's not enough liquidity here at the 21.5 mark, we should see it at 20,000. But we'll see. We have about 72 hours before this plays out, this golden cross here, because technically speaking, when we got the 21-day crossing the 72 and the 200, we got a run from around 16,000 to around 23. So this here is the 72 crossing the 200, which is technically a lot more bullish. So it can be a very huge signal going forward. We're just going to have to see here where we're going to grab that liquidity from, because ultimately how far we come down determines the momentum and stuff we can have going back up. So that's going to play a big part in our other assets. So let's take a look here at Doge. You'll see Doge is down, pretty much getting a slight rejection here off of the 72. That's this yellow line right here. And we've been trending on the opposite side of our last support line here, getting some bounces off of it. And we're kind of getting a decent bounce here off of the 72-day moving average. So we're going to see an allocation here, because a lot of times people were asking, was this shorts? And I don't believe shorts are coming in. This is reallocation of institutional money. So yeah, shorts are pretty much, I won't say non-existent, but they're relatively low, no spikes or anything like that. This is a reallocation of institutional money. Not much you can do in this situation here. People aren't selling. Shorts haven't come in. This is just kind of, let's move our money around to see if we are going to allocate more or not at these levels, or if we can get it for cheaper. So we see Ethereum here. Ethereum's kind of hanging out. So Ethereum's doing fine. Ethereum's hanging out, trending sideways here. So at this support level, this is kind of where that pivot point was. So not a strong rally above it to go retest that 1800 mark roughly, but it is building support and getting that sideways action here. So that's the this institutional money wait, well, not institutional money, but I'll just say the money is sitting kind of sitting there waiting on like a signal here for if it's going to go lower or not, because it's not magic that holds these numbers in place. There's certainly supply and demand at work, but when you see the stagnation or Bitcoin searching for liquidity and stuff like that, you'll see coins affected a little differently. You'll see some coins kind of sell off with Bitcoin, and some of them will literally just kind of stall out and go sideways, kind of like with Ethereum, until you get that indicator in the market here. See, Cardano, 38 cent. Yeah, so we're not trending sideways. This is more in line with Ethereum, not coming close to that 44 pivot point to retest that. So yeah, as of right now, the name of the game is where is the liquidity? And that's going to determine if we're going to see some stagnation, sideways movements, or a further sell-off. We have a few points here, a couple more points for Bitcoin to grab liquidity in the $20,000 range. So nothing huge in the news to cause a shakeup or an extreme sell-off thus far. So we'll kind of have to kind of see how this plays out over the next 72 hours here. It's still a short-term time frame, but we're going to have to kind of just wait this out. Again, this is institutional money, so not much is happening on our end that's pushing this not down or causing a sell-off. Shorts aren't doing it. So just one of those things you kind of have to be patient for. No traders are probably losing their mind, but if you're in the coins for long term, or if you're speculating whether or not you're going to get a dip down to get a better price, probably nothing significant, but you can probably get something a little cheaper now. And if we get a further breakdown, I'll say like if it broke down below 20, then you can start to see more of a significant entry. But as of right now, that is not showing evidence of that on the 72-hour time frame that we're looking at this on. So you're going to have to just literally be patient here and see how this works out if we're going to grab liquidity at one of those levels. And then we'll have our answers for the next leg up, whether or not we're going to build some strength here, or if we need to go lower to grab additional liquidity. Hope you found this video valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the channel as we get closer to 50K. I appreciate all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.